Hello and welcome. This is Mrs. Gorman. I am the literacy coach here at Plant, and this is the Florida Standards Assessment Training. First and foremost, this is going to be your do now. You have a packet in front of you, and you will have 11 minutes to read and answer the questions in the FSA practice packet. I encourage you to write in the packet, take notes, and highlight. And obviously, do your best. Now it's time to review your answers for the FSA practice. I want to go over a little bit of the breakdown that is on the FSA and the categories that you will see here. You obviously see on the far left the reporting category, the genre, the standards assessed, and the percent of that assessment. If you look at the first reading component, it's key ideas and details. That's a mixture of literature and informational text. And that's about 15 to 25% of the FSA. Moving on to the next one, craft and structure. Again, that's a mix of literature and informational text, and that is about 25 to 35%. The next one is integration of knowledge and ideas, filled with literature and informational text, which is 20 to 30%. And lastly, the language and editing, literature and informational text, which is 15 to 25% of the assessment. Now, the range of these assessments change every single year, so please keep that in mind. Overall, the FSA has about 70% of informational text and 30% of informational text. And lastly, this is the writing component. The writing component ranges between 10 and 15% of the FSA assessment. Looking at this chart, this is from the 2018-2019 FSA levels. It still applies today. The numbers do shift. So if you're looking at 8th grade and you scored a 322, that is a low level 2 in 8th grade. If you were to score a 322 in 9th grade, it drops you down to a high level 1 in 9th grade. But we're going to forget about level 1s and 2s because we're all going to achieve this level 3 zone right here. 3 or above. You want to be green, blue, or this purple over here. A level 3 is considered a passing score or on grade level, we should say. So for 9th grade, if you're scoring a 343, you are on grade level. It gets a little tricky, which is like the pass versus fail model when you get to 10th grade because it's your graduation benchmark. So you want to get that 350 or above to meet your concordant/graduation benchmark. So this is really, really important. So do notice if you scored a 343 in 9th grade, you're on grade level. However, if you score a 343 in 10th grade, it bumps you down to a high level 2. And in 10th grade, this is when you obviously are testing for your graduation benchmark. So you would not be on grade level, you would not get a passing FSA score. So these have changed. This is from 2016 to 2017. So you can see the number of questions are in each of these reading categories. This changes every single year. So the important part to really look at should be the percent above. This should say about 10 to 15% here. If you're looking at this, you will see that craft and structure has a very heavy weight on the percent that is covered on the FSA. And again, you see there's about 20 questions from 9th and 10th grade from 2016 to 2017, yet it does change every single year. The total amount of questions that you will have for both grades will be 64 questions. So you'll see here for 9th grade, if you are in 9th grade and taking this, session 1 will have questions 1 through 32. Then when you go into day 2, session 2, you'll finish it with questions 33 through 64. In grade 10, it's a little bit different. You will have questions 1 through 30 on day 1, session 1. Then moving to session 2, day 2, questions 31 through 64 will be completed. And if you are a junior or a senior who is in the retakes, you will have questions 1 through 29 day 1, and then questions 30 through 64 on day 2. And if you're looking at this is the FSA word count per passage set. So if you see this for 9th, your passage set range will be between 350 words to 1,300. It gets bumped up a little bit in 10th and 11th grade. So it goes from 350 to 1,350 in 10th grade. And then with the retakes for juniors and seniors, 350 to 1,400 word length per, word count per passage set. Now looking at the details for this, you will have 2 sessions for reading, days 1 and 2. They are 90 minutes each. You will have about 4 passage sets per session, so you're looking at about 8 total. And then within those passage sets, approximately 1 to 2 language editing passages. Here are some examples of the FSA item types. You have hot text, multiple choice, multi-select, open response, table match, listening, editing task. Here's an example of one of the questions you might see on the FSA reading section. Fill in the circles to show how different characters advance the plot of passage 1. More than one circle may be filled in for each character. So looking at this table with your teacher, think about how you would approach this question. What do you need to know? What do you need to be able to do? This is a multi-select question. Pause here to discuss with your class. Here's an example of a table match question that you might see on the FSA. Fill in the circles to match the claims made by the speaker in passage 1 with the supporting evidence provided for each claim. So if you're looking at the top, you see that there's 2 claims being made here, and then on the left, you see the different pieces of evidence. Pause here to discuss this question with your teacher. Here's one more example of an FSA reading question that you might see. Both Elizabeth Blackwell in Passage 2 and Mary Ellen Avery in Passage 3 emphasize their efforts to be admitted to medical school. Fill in the circles to show which details match each passage. Please pause here with your teacher and discuss how you would approach this question. If you could please bring your old headphones if possible, or one of these white dongles that will be able to be used with our computer system. We do have a few headphones, but because of COVID, we would like to limit the number of headphones we're passing out. So if you do have these old headphones with these old jacks, these would work great on our computers.